Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast. Ayirebuah speaks literally. Ayirebuah speaks literally. This is a podcast where I share with you the random thoughts and the random things that shape my personality. Yeah. This is a very new adventure for me because somehow Anchor changed to Spotify for podcasters. And then Spotify for podcasters has changed to Riverside. And Riverside is doing this thing where you can record with the video now. And I was a bit nervous at first because nobody has experienced. I tried once, it was very catastrophic because I'm doing this by myself as the host, as the writer of the producer and the whatever it is that it is. I'm doing everything by myself and it's always in a little corner in my little room. And my guests are always virtual. They're never in the studio with me unless they live in the same house with me. I'm talking a lot. Anyway, hi, you're welcome if you're new. Hi, I've been waiting for you all my life. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking to two very important women in my life, two sisters, and we're going to talk about how it feels or what it means to be an older sibling. And does it affect your personality growing up? Does it have an impact in your other relationships? What exactly does it mean to be an older sibling? And how annoying are the younger siblings, especially the last ones, to the older siblings? So it's going to be a very good conversation, and I hope you learn something or enjoy it. This is Ayirebuah Speaks Digitally, so we'll get into the conversation very soon. Okay.
Well, damn. Hello, how are you feeling? So glad you tuned in. Let's get to talking. Nah. Ayirebuah speaks literally. Yeah, she's speaking literally. About things like literary. Whether happy, scary, or teary, should have you feeling very merry. She's about to kill. Nah.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ayirebuah Speaks Literally. Just like I said, today is going to be a groundbreaking episode because it is the first time that this podcast is doing a video podcast. And who better than to have it with two very special, amazing, fantastical, fantabulous, beauticious women in my life. This is Ayirebuah Speaks Literally, and today we're going to talk about, like I mentioned in the intro, what does it feel like to be older than everyone? Like your siblings. Hmm. Now, we're going to ask them to introduce themselves. I'm so used to doing this on video. It's like I've not acknowledged you yet. Hold on. Hello, Na Amerley and Selena. You're welcome to Ayirebuah Speaks Literally. Hi.
Hi, Ayirebuah. It's so good to be here.
Oh my gosh.
Actually.
Okay.
Hello.
I was just waiting for that. So guys, like I said, this is a groundbreaking episode. And don't forget to mute when the beautician is speaking. And so we're going to just start with telling the listeners or the viewers, because now we're doing video, something about yourself before we kick into the conversation. Selena, you seem not ready to start, so I'll start with you. Tell us something interesting about yourself.
Don't have anything interesting about myself. I'm
Oh,
Selena. I'm an elderly person in my household, apparently. And
I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Okay. Amerley, nah, Amerley.
I think I want to go back first and tell something very interesting about IKEA,
Mm.
or who you introduced as
We are
sibling
very
as.
interested.
So we're all siblings here, as Ayirebuah Speak said, and IKEA is the person that all of us go to
You
because
said talk about yourself.
she she's the most thoughtful, giving,
Ooh.
objective person
Hmm.
ever. Like, if you want life advice and you go to IKEA, don't expect to be like, "Oh, I'm your sister, so I'm just going to talk to you like you're my sister." You're gonna get the raw deal, and it's always said in a place of love and light. I feel like she's the person that holds us all together, and I'm appreciative of her. So when she says I don't have anything to say, like, stop. She has a lot to say.
Have you seen the
But
current trend? We
go ahead.
listen, we don't judge. Have you seen that trend?
You're asking me about trends. Like, I would know. I don't know
She's
trends.
the opposite of we listen, we judge.
No, but she judges in fairness.
Mm.
Like, she lets you avoid 10 steps with her one view or perspective. You know this.
Okay.
Okay, so me,
Yeah, you.
back to me. Hi, I am Na Ameli Minu. Um, an interesting thing about me, we talked about this. I don't have anything interesting to say about
Oh,
me because I feel like, not in a bad way, like not in a humble way either. It's literally like, I think my strong suit is I can relate to people no matter where they are, because I can see myself in people,
hmm.
and I love to see and hear about people's stories. So I think that's what's interesting. Like, it's not about me when I meet you, because nine out of ten times I'm listening to you more than I'm talking about
So you
myself when I
like
meet you
gist.
the first
You
time.
like gist. That's
Oh,
basically.
me papo, me papo, papa.
That's
I'll call you
basically
me there.
it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
gist.
yeah, yeah.
That's gist.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. I know you ladies are so busy. Hmm. So it's been very difficult getting you here, but we're here. And I just want to see a QS reaction to my abrophilization. And we're about to start the conversation. Okay. So, like we said earlier, we're siblings, but you two have more insight into what it's like to have younger ones after you. And so I mean, I see conversations on social media all the time where people are like, firstborns carry things on their back, or older siblings carry things on their back so much that it seeps into their friendships, or it seeps into their basically their social life, that they take so much responsibility, they're seen as the second parent and all of that. So, has there ever been a time in your lives where you felt like, I feel like I'm being pressured, or I feel like this? Yeah, why?
I'm ready. My answer is ready.
Or you feel like, you know what, I just want to be a child. Okay, yeah, since you're ready, go ahead.
My answer is never. No, not once. Why?
Why?
I existed and you showed up, and I continue to live my life.
Really, really.
And thankfully, we have responsible enough parents that I've never felt any pressure to carry my siblings. The only thing I am responsible for is to guide you all so that you don't make mistakes that I've made. Perhaps being closer in generation, we might be experiencing some of the same things. But to be responsible for you all, I've never felt that pressure. Not to say that I don't enjoy giving you pocket money, but it's not something I
Okay, if
feel
you want to
like
talk
I'm
to
on.
me, talk to me direct. Don't pass through the corners.
So that's that.
Okay,
That's my answer.
what about you, Amelie?
So was the question repeat the question for me again actually.
Like I said, I've felt or I've seen people say that being older than your other siblings, you feel some sort of pressure to be like, you have to have responsibility for all of them and you have to be like a second parent to them. Have you ever felt like that?
No, so Ikea said it. I think we are thankfully blessed with parents and elders that didn't give us that responsibility, that pressure. Like growing up, I never thought that I need to tell you people how to like just thrive and grow. Like we were allowed to be kids. I think what our parents expected of us, like the whole elderly tribe expected of us, was that all of us will be unified. All of us will care for each other, think about each other, support each other, but never the intent for us older siblings to be responsible to groom and like bring you up because they were still there and were still invested and are still invested in all of us. And so like what Ikea said was very accurate. Like that was not the pressure, but very young, at a very young age we were just very fortunate to have a tribe that told us like we are all we have, and so we have to like support each other.
Okay. So I appreciate these answers because then it shows that you also had time to learn for yourself. But does this mean that because you both made points of you had the support of parents, so you didn't feel like anything fell on you? Do you think that there's ever a situation where even when people have that, people have the parents there present in their lives, they still feel that pressure? Melly
I think
or
it's
Ikea, you go. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah, yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I'll go.
Go, go.
I think it's possible. I mean, it's very possible if you see that a younger sibling is not following the straight and narrow path and you don't want to stress your parents, then there's a certain degree of responsibility you have as an older sibling to just step in and make sure that in those instances, say they instead of going to school, they are cutting classes or they are spending their school fees, things like that, that you know you set them straight, and that doesn't necessarily require the parent to step in. You want to prevent certain stresses for the parent. So as the older sibling, that's when you can step in and play the role.
Yeah. Okay. Do you agree, Amelie?
I agree with what Ike has said, and I think this question is so complex in its nature that there are so many various reasons why a child might interpret or assume that even with parents who are involved, that they need to assume more responsibility and take on more parental responsibilities as the elderly child, as the adult child. And I think I want to break it down into two buckets. So if you are getting the love from an authentic place, and like Ikea said, you see it and you want to reduce the burden, right? Like you take it upon yourself as a first child, you want to reduce the burden to help out because you look at it as collective capacity. And so you're just trying to help like ease the burden as a family, as a unit, because you move in one accord. There's that instance, but there's also instances where, like, if it's not authentic and it's very superficial, some people, some firstborn individuals might see it as like it's a precursor. It's like you're saying it, but you're actually giving me a command, or I'm interpreting this as a command. So here's how I'm going to move forward to make myself like useful to the family as a unit. But no matter what, at the end of the day, I think that we try to come from a place of like everybody's doing their best, everybody has good intentions. Sometimes there's miscommunication, misalignment, and these things can happen. Like your initial question was like, can parents be doing their best and then like older siblings still think that there's pressure on them to do more? Yes, it can. But I think from the perspective of like parents, it's not like this was what they wanted
Mm,
to happen. But circumstances, life situations, so you can't really see like it's an answer for one size fits all. You really have to look at it case by
yeah,
case
it's always
and
a
understand the nuance
situational
of
thing.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for that. So now let's go back in time. Let's rewind and think about what annoying things have you had to endure? Like, let's say you wanted to go somewhere with your friends, because I know that you both grew up. No, I grew up long distantly from you two. So my most immediate um older sibling was or is Nanama. And my experience with her was always she wants to go somewhere with her friends, and then our mother will tell her she should take me along, and then we fight. Why am I so annoying? So um did you have that with her? Because obviously she will be your a what they call it successor. So did you have that with her, or even me? I don't know. How will I know? I wasn't there.
I mean, this is a strange question to ask. It's not annoying to be asked to hang out with your sibling.
Oh, you think?
But I think that if there's certain things that she wants to do that a smaller kid can't do, then it will be frustrating because she's not getting to do things that she wants to do. But for my part, I quite remember she was very involved in after school activities. I was not. I just liked reading. And she went to sign up for an answer guide or something like that. And they had a what they went to the Accra Zoo.
Hey,
I don't even know where it is. But how will she go? If there was nobody to take her, they said she can't go. So I had to go with her. I remember that. But it was a good experience for both of us um, to figure out how to get there and go to that event. That was a long time ago, and that was the only time I did anything like that because that one experience was enough.
oh,
Otherwise, me myself, I didn't like doing things. So it's
so
not
you're
like
an exception to the general rule.
they're going to prevent me from doing things. I liked my house. I stayed home. So I was very content. So that didn't apply to me,
Mm.
Amelie. And Nanama really liked me. So she liked following me
So
around.
she didn't like me. Ah,
Yeah.
Can you give examples
revelation.
after like when we came here? So after you left Nanama, we left Nanama and Irama back home. Like when we came here and we had to follow each other. What were some things that were like,
Yeah.
how do you have to do it with Amelie?
There wasn't anything that we
I
did.
have examples that I'm going to give.
I mean,
Please
there
tell.
wasn't anything. My personality is such that I'm not really, and I up to now I don't really like going out like that. So I'm a
I
little,
think my example is not about going out. Like so, we are Ifiakoko,
Mm.
all of us,
Fact.
mother trained us that way,
so
and
what is
you
the
see,
example
we don't.
that you are
We
remembering?
it's so where I think it came down to school choices. So I remember when we were in Ghana,
Oh
then
yeah,
it came down to okay, we have all scored well, and we are open to getting our top choices. You wanted Holy Cool, I wanted St.
I
Roses.
got Holiko.
I
You
also
got
got cirrhosis,
Rose.
and then daddy was like, okay, we can't be all of this, so let's pick something
We had to
close.
compromise and go
And
to
she literally chose a brie.
yes because if I can't go to mine, why should you go to yours?
Like she could
So
have,
you walked
Ebri
into
was
her
in,
second choice.
where Ebri is. So
Mhm.
we really could have gone to St. Moses. She's like, Manko
We
will
could
go, then
have
there
gone
also
to
go St.
Holy
Moses.
Child. So that's a compromise for me.
And then I
Let's
think the
all get
same
what
thing,
we
and
don't
it's
like.
so funny, the same thing also translated when we came to the US
Mhm.
because after high school, we applied for various schools in Connecticut and we got to UConn, CCSU, and SCSU.
Please,
And
can
Ikea
you
was like, nope.
elaborate on those names? CCSU.
Um,
Ah, did you apply to UConn?
I did. University of Connecticut, right?
Uh-huh.
Go Huskies. I got
Uh-huh.
it.
Oh
Um,
yes.
and Ike also got University of Connecticut. I also got into Central Connecticut. We applied to a lot of like schools
Mhm.
within the state of Connecticut. That's where our family was.
I told her not to follow me.
And she was like, "No, you can't follow me. I'm going to CCSU, go Huskies, and to call." Like, so we've never had disagreements with hanging out because we growing up, we were like just us. We made sure
So
to
how will you
distinguish.
follow me everywhere? Ah,
We
That's the
distinguish
point I was
ourselves.
trying to make. You see, so you have that with Amerley, and I
Yeah, she
have
was
that with
my
Nanama
person.
because
She's my person. Like,
see, but that's it worked out. Now we know a whole
it
lot
didn't
more
work out.
differently.
Like, why
Otherwise,
would
we'll
you
have
want
the
your sister
same
to
friends.
go?
We'll do the same things. Oh,
And you
Alex.
know what's funny? Like she goes to UConn, I go to Central Connecticut State University, and every weekend at most, like we converge and we meet each other because we're all doing things in our on our campuses that requires us to interrelate. And but it was nice. Like Ikea has always like I went to tours UConn. I said, oh, now I understand why she was like, no, knowing me CCSU was very small and cute. I don't like. I get it now, but initially when she said don't go to UConn because I'm going there, it was a fight.
Listen, even in Ebri, they put us in different houses. This girl was always in my house. Why?
I like my people.
Oh,
I like my
see, I
the
people.
didn't
seniors
know
are
this.
sending me.
Yeah. So okay, where were you? Like I was in Edinburgh House.
I
What
was in
house?
Aberdeen house.
I used to go there.
Oh, every morning she was at
And
my house. And go,
there.
go. Why?
I
See,
like my
so
people.
now it's everything is making more sense because you spend more time with each other, and so there's a situation that comes up like stop following me already. So I got that a lot with Nanama. It came to a point where I wanted to watch Step Up, the third movie. Is it Step Up 3 or something? And she was going to watch it with her friends. And I was like, oh, I want to watch it too. She said no, she will not go with me. She's tired of me. I cried. And my Ivy took me. But at the end of the
Oh,
day, Myvi slept at the cinema. But she said, oh, you want to watch it? Your sister won't take you. I will take you. And she
ah,
went.
but you had your friends.
You see,
Why couldn't you go with?
the problem with my friends is that they are almost like me in a sense that their father or mother will say, no, you can't go. You can't go without your sister. Can't go without your brother. So
We had friends like that too, like that we're still friends with to this day. Like they all were if you like us, like
yeah.
I
So if they
Alvina,
can't go,
Nancy, like our Jack and Jill squad. They wanted to do stuff with us all the time, and we wanted to do stuff with them all the time. But like our parents were like of the same mind, so it didn't work
if
out.
you want to go to somebody's house, it's always why can't they come to your house?
You will meet in school.
Yeah,
Why do they need to come to your house?
they'll go anyway. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's move on to the next part of the conversation. And I've really enjoyed this revelation of Ekuya not wanting you to go to Yukon with her, or she being annoyed that you were in a Brigel, her house had a Brigels. This is a very exciting revelation just to know that at least we have something in common in that regard. So, um, I'm reading from a website called Medium, parentingwisdom.medium.com, that has 10 facts about eldest kids that parents and teachers need to know. And it says that firstborns or older siblings may not always rule the world, but they are a force to be reckoned with. Parents have always known that eldest children like to rule the roost, but there's so much more to know about firstborns. Here are some evidence based facts or evidence backed facts about firstborns that shape how you parent, teach, and coach this fascinating group. Firstborns are groundbreakers. Firstborn children take parents into new ground at every developmental stage. The firstborn child introduces parents to infancy, early childhood, and every other developmental stage. They also introduce parents to preschool, primary school, secondary school, and life beyond the education system. Every subsequent child in a family should thank their elder siblings for breaking their parents in for them. So, you people have gone through the schooling system, or the parents, you've basically broken in um the older sibling thing for your for parents, and they are saying that younger siblings should give you thanks or praises for meaning that, oh, they've seen it, they've done that, they don't even have to be bothered about it. But I want to challenge this a bit, because it's understandable that yes, parents might have seen that their firstborn children have gone through this, and so when the subsequent children come, they know how to deal with it. But don't you think that every child has their own wahala? And so, if, for instance, um the older siblings, having gone through a sickness phase, they've never had a child who had to be rushed to the hospital because of breathing problems. That is an exception, that's a wild example. But don't you think that every child has a different wahala? And so, yes, the basic things are there, they've already done that. But then there are still new things that every parent will go through with every child.
Uh, can I start and
Yeah.
then if you can follow? I think two things can be true at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So what you ended with when you were listing this website that was saying that, people should thank firstborns because like they went through it with their parents, like they were the teaching
Mm-hmm.
module for their parents, and they were also like vice versa, right? And the same thing you were saying, like every child is different. So as a mother of three, that are your nieces, your nephews and niece, I think I can say that my experience with my first child was very spot on with the article you were saying. Like we were learning each other.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, depending on where you come to in your personal stage of development as a parent, you are learning things,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you learn to, if you're reflective, understand what worked for you
Mm-hmm.
and what you understood about yourself and what didn't. So as a first child, like Boama got the good, the bad, and the ugly. Kofi and Akosia probably still got the good, the bad, and the ugly, but at a lesser severity than what Boama was exposed to. So yes, the article is right in saying, say like, yes, thank your firstborn siblings because as your parents were evolving by being exposed to them,
Mm-hmm.
it gave them pain points and lessons learned that they probably sprinkled down to any subsequent siblings,
Okay.
right? But like you mentioned, every child is unique. So what I learned with Wama in his personality and persona is different from what I had to some elements of it with Kofi. Like Wama is very quiet. He's a gentle giant. Kofi, as you
Mm-hmm.
know,
The
is
talker.
not. Yes, he's going to make his points clear and going to reel everybody in into a situation. So you learn to navigate through that. Akosia is different, right?
Yeah, but
So
she likes to play with the boys.
I think
Yeah.
I think she likes to be on the same ground with the boys because she doesn't want them to overtake or undertake her, right? So I think what you said is true. Like, yes, what you're saying, what the article is saying is like, for me, in my mind, as I'm interpreting, it's like they can coexist.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it's not just thank your older siblings and that's it. Thank your older siblings, because look at how Maivi treated Ike and I, and you and Nanama. Look at how Magi treated Ike and I and Mami and Kofi. It's just there's variances to it and nuance to it. So first one sometimes are like the test modules
Mm-hmm.
as they're supposed to be, and hopefully as we all evolve, parent and child, you get hopefully the best parts through each transition. If you're going.
I can't add any more to that because more of him. The
Okay.
question was long and the answer was apt. So
More vim, more
yeah,
vim, more vim.
let's
Okay. Are do you see yourself as or yourselves as family conservatives? Because they say that you are most likely the children in a family who follow dominant employment and lifestyle path displayed by parents. So if parents are from professions such as education, medicine, finance, the older siblings are likely to follow that pathway of their parents.
well,
If you start.
I don't know how scientific this theory is but we are from a generation where education was the key to success. Now we live in a different time, right? So going to school and having a stable job was the dream. It continues to be the dream for most, but now we live in a time where some might say the internet is the equalizer more than going to school. So you don't necessarily have to pursue education to have like a professional job and a stable life. Now, no matter where you are in the world, as long as you have access to the internet, you can break through. So the constant, or not constant, but the theory that elder children are likely to follow the path of their parents is true in our case because you know what you know what you're exposed to. And in a world without internet access that we grew up in,
Let's
if,
minus me. Okay.
well, me and Amelie, you know, before the internet became more accessible to us in Ghana, I mean, you know what you're exposed to. So if you've never seen or interacted with an engineer, the concept of becoming an engineer will be abstract, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you have parents, you have aunties and uncles who are in the profession, you've had a chance to see them work, you've had a chance to be exposed to the profession. And if you were interested in science, then it's an option. It was an option for you to pursue that career. So that's why it's more likely for um, those in our generation to be doing the same jobs as our parents because we know what were exposed to, and then whatever piqued our interest is what the path we walked towards. Now you have a lot of people who are able to pursue other passions, and you have people our age who were in one career and are transitioning into more of like careers of that they are passionate
Passion. Yeah.
about. Yeah, passion professions, and that looks differently to different people. But I think that to answer your question is just based on the environment we grew up in and the economy that um, was our reality. Having a stable job meant pursuing professions that you were exposed to and have seen others work in and have a good life in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now becoming a YouTuber wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing. It just wasn't a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a thing. Like people can pursue it because it exists. So it's a different time, different options, and we'll see what the new generation will come up with next, right? With the new technology,
Yeah.
the world that we live in.
Okay, so you've based your answer. I know I asked the question specifically about you guys, but for Amelie, can you answer this question like generally? So if it's not specific to you, generally, do you think that firstborns would different generations? Let's look at it from different generations now. Let's include the internet generation. And do you think that firstborns would most likely pursue what their parents pursued?
So can I just be honest here? You introduced a terminology that I wasn't familiar with, like firstborn conservatism.
Yes, that's
Um
what the website said. It said first eldest are the family conservatives. I don't know
okay.
if it means
I
Basically, you're
conserving
conserving
the
the
profession.
profession. Your mother is a doctor, you
So
become a doctor.
it's kind of like under the umbrella of like family conservatism. So like adopting family values and like holding it
Yeah,
through generations. Um, Ikea, I think I agree. I agree with Ikea because you can't look at it from like one siloed perspective. So as the seasons has changed and the generations are being exposed to things like you, Ira, you are a blogger, a vlogger, like whatever you tell us you are. In our era, when we were signing up for okay, what do you want to do in secondary school? What course path, like career track you want to choose? That wasn't an option. There were like established career paths that were known to society for us to pick from.
I
And
had
even
to
when we
pick those
came
two.
here, yeah, and even when we came here, like even the thing that we're now cemented in, like in Ghana, the we when we were there at that time when we're picking like redefining like starting our careers, we didn't know there was a thing called public health. I didn't know there was public health until I got exposed to public health after, bachelor's degree. So to the extent like, do firstborn still honor and are conservative to like family values? I again will tell you this response that will look like it's just a catch-all phrase. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on how closely knit said the firstborn is to the family values and how they've been made to understand what it means and the generational impact. So if your parents were business owners, construction business owners, and they built up a construction business, family business, and you come into it and they let you know the do's and don'ts, and like they really expose you to it in an earlier age, more than likely you might take on that pathway versus if parents are being liberal, and not that parents should not be liberal, like they allow you to. Ikea said a word here that I was like very fascinated by. It's like, oh, you pursue your passion. Some people don't have the ability to pursue passions when you are in a space where you have to honor like family um conservative, like legacies. And so it depends. I honestly don't have an answer. Like if I'm just doing like a broad stroke sweep, I'll say it depends. It depends on what conversations have happened, what compromises have been made, what leeways have been given, what's at stake economically, financially, emotionally, systematically. There are so many reasons why people pursue certain things. But this concept that you gave me, I was like, hey, bro, fool, I have to go back and look at it. I didn't know.
Okay. So I wouldn't want to keep us all here all night. Well, that depends. I really would.
You want to
But
keep us here all night, but we need to go.
let's go on to the last thing, which is more of what I'm actually interested in talking about is personality wise how being an oldest child affects your personality. So another website, I would say website known as verywellmind.com is talking about how being the oldest child or an older sibling affects your personality. The evidence is clear and conclusive when it comes to how birth order affects a child's personality. Australian doctor and psychoanalyst Alfred Adler is usually credited with the origin of how the theory of birth order affects personality. Adler's theory was that both firstborn and youngest children experience neurosis based on their needs for success and dominance in the family, whereas middle child children have more easygoing personalities and tend to be more rebellious, sorry. These days, most psychologists are aligned with the theory that firstborn children usually try to please their parents and are looking to play a more dominant role in the family. As a result, their personalities are marked by conscien, cons, boy, conscientiousness.
Haya, 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 haya.
Conscientiousness, boy. Conscience, oh, conscience. And that's the word, conscientiousness. Extroversion, neuroticism, and more developed intellect. On the other hand, younger siblings are usually more flexible, free thinking, social, and rebellious. Again, though the evidence to back up these claims are scant and not always consistent. For example, a 2015 study published in the Journal of Research in Personality found that older siblings tended to be more conscientious, outgoing, and generally agreeable than younger children. But the difference in personality traits between oldest and younger siblings were infinitesimally, oh my goodness, small according to study researchers. The big words are a lot. the big word, the big words.
Come here, crush me.
Until then, conscient. You
Conscientious.
have to go.
Me,
You have to
me,
go about these first because I am
me
critical.
too, Inka. Conscientiousness. You're kind of saying.
Conscientiousness.
Con,
Nsen kana minga.
con,
Dabi.
conscient,
Conscientiousness. Into shesheno. Ansana. And your
conscientiousness.
conscientiousness. Now you mark say your conscience, like your conscience
They
says,
say you have conscientiousness.
like you are
So you're
consciously
not
aware.
neurotic.
So yeah, what has stood out to me is the part where they say that you are neurotic or
I,
extroverted.
I think they are using that as a descriptor, not as a diagnosis per se. I think that there's this notion that as an elder child in a household who um, most likely your parents were stricter with you, they I mean they let them feel free.
She's
They
sucking the
that
children.
feel free. The I think that when you it depends on the culture within which you are also growing up in, because culturally there are rules for how to act and behave as a child. And over the years, over generations, more traditional stances about behavior has softened, right? So when we were growing up, you don't talk when an adult is speaking. When you go to school, the teacher is after your parents. The teachers are law now. Teachers, hmm, the children rule over the teachers
Hmm.
to some extent. So, I think for an elder child, the idea that you have to be perfect
Hmm.
depends on the culture within which you grow up in, and after that it depends on the household you're growing up in. For us personally, besides going to school, doing what you have to do. If you do well in school, we felt very comfortable at home enough that I didn't feel like I had to be perfect.
Hmm.
As you all know my history, school was a challenge when I was little.
I don't know.
Eh, Well, you don't need to know my background, but we come from a family where Uncle James, Uncle Franco traveled from Axim to Kumasi to help me with my math.
Hey.
Like everybody comes together to help the child struggling academically.
Mm.
So, in terms of where our values were, I never felt like I had to do it on my own, ever, no matter what the circumstance is, because that's the experience we had. Like, I won't put your business out there with your own challenge with mathematics.
Don't worry about putting my business out there. I had to write math 3 times. Don't worry. Let's say
You
the
know,
truth.
you also experienced that nobody was pressuring you, but you had the support of everybody in terms of uh, staying up with you, quizzing you,
Mm.
helping you do your homework, making sure you were preparing appropriately and adequately. And so I've never felt like I had to be 100% perfect. I just had to do my best, because if you're not doing your best and you don't have a good outcome, there's nothing more you can say, right? There's nothing you can blame. There's no one you can blame by yourself. But in our household, the only rule is do your best.
Mm.
And so by putting in 100% effort, being focused, not being distracted, doing what I was supposed to do, even if I fell below the bar,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't reason enough for me to feel dejected, because I knew I did my best. It was, everybody rallied around me and supported me to try again, to do it again. So out here in the world, I walk with my head
Hey,
held high.
conscientiousness.
You know, and with confidence, a lot of confidence, because I know that come what may, if I need to, I have my backers, right? I have a group of people behind me who will catch me if I fall. So I've never felt pressured to absolutely be perfect. I just do my best, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, I try again, or I do the second option. But thankfully, because I felt comfortable and I felt supported enough to just do my best, it's 90% of the time works out. And I keep, walking through the world with vim and confidence.
Mm. Mm-hmm. When you were talking, you mentioned something about feeling pressured in school or your schoolwork, and it just brought unlocked a memory for me with the pressure I felt being the younger sibling. And of course, it has to do with the one I grew up with, Nanama. So it was in
I'm
JHS.
not here to defend herself, so don't be
No, it's not
saying
about
things.
her.
No, but I feel like it's nothing to do with her.
It's
I
not
think
about
you
her.
were interpreting it
Let
like
me just
she's who
put
she
it in.
is and
Sure.
she's Mama Shark. Period.
It's not about her. It's about a
But
teacher.
tell us,
A
tell
teacher
us your
who was
story.
giving me that
Yeah.
pressure because of who my sister was. So it was JHS2. Wait, you both know Mr. Haja. May he so rest in peace. And I was in JHS2. And you know how Nanama is going to collect all the awards in the world. And me, it's not like I'm bad. No. I do my best in this world. I do my best. I've tried and I've achieved. It might come with a little bit of hustle, but I achieve. And This man came to class. We're talking, or the school was talking. I'm saying the school, the class was making noise. And he came to our class and he said, we don't have anything to do. He's going to ask us, like, pop questions or something. And then he asked me, when was World War I or World War II? Which years? How will I know? I said, I don't know. Then he said, your sister would have known that. Ha! In front of everybody. I was so, I don't know, so surprised. Oh, and I asked her after. I asked her, she was in St. Roses at the time. I asked her, Nana, when was World War I? She said, me, all I know. I said, aha! Mr. Haja. So, what kind of pressure was that?
It's not. It's unfortunate, but you know, that's what I meant. The teachers were after your parents. The teachers
Mm-hmm.
were next in that order. And so when you've had siblings go through the same class with the same teacher and they've all excelled, you know, in our batch, I think 4 people got 9 ones. Amelia and I were 2 of the 4 people. Most people got 8 ones. And then Nanama followed with all her accolades. So naturally, in the
I just
world
want to
that we live
put in that
in
out of
Ghana,
7 subjects, I got 5 ones.
yes, yes. So you have to own your own vim and move through the world with confidence, because you can't control how other people perceive you or see,
But that
think
takes
about
that
you.
takes time and that takes maturity, and that's
Yes.
okay too. Like where you are right
Mhm.
now, we are the ones coming to you asking you for all of these things that
I
you
mean,
have
if I
not
have to make
excelled in.
video on
Yeah,
internet,
like it,
you
so
Ghana
You can
message.
also
no,
paint, don't use only video example, use legal example. Let them know
no
that I'm
legal,
also
You
legal.
reviewed my
like
contract.
poetry, like communicate verbal and written communication wise, you do extremely well. So now as we are all maturing and we have tapped into refining our skills, now we all know who to leverage in our network for when we need things. And so what was once not celebrated for you, now you are the go-to person.
Thank you.
Right. O'Shea, Inti. I think it's evolved over the time, but once again, not to undermine what Ikea said, because all these things are part of stages of development. But what is making us thrive now, and I won't underestimate that fact, is the fact that like we really came from um a good tribe that devoted their time, their resources, their energy to make sure that we're like well planted and rooted and established. And so what we are now is a depiction of what they taught us to be, right? They gave us freedom to do things, but no, your homework must be done. Your schoolwork, you must excel. No matter what it looks like. I struggled in math, you struggle in math, right? Ikea was a science brain. Like, we all had our strengths
I'll
and
be honest
weaknesses,
with you, I struggled in all of them. Except,
but even in the
except the reading
weaknesses,
subjects.
there's something to be said, and I don't want us to leave this without like really giving flowers to the people that made us, like Omuhina, grandma, mother, Myvi, Maggie, daddy, uncle, like everybody. We can't name all of them. Uncle Franco, Uncle James, Uncle Ishmael, Uncle Willie, everybody, Uncle Kofi Dankwa, everybody,
You won't
like
Uncle
name
everybody.
Akush.
Nipuni.
You will name
You
Uncle
everybody.
won't
Aku,
name
She has
Nipuni.
named
hey,
everybody.
I'm trying. Uncle
Be
Kuti, like the
calming down.
aunties, the cousins, everybody. Like we just came from a space where it's like you're not alone. You're not walking alone, but you're like being guided. There was a fight. We were all rebellious at some stage, but they did their very best to just let us know you were rebellious, Madam Soho. They did their very best to just let us know, so like we are it. So now I think the baton is, now that we are here, we now are aunties and to people that after us, so we also have to like forge that and keep the bridge and the gap, going.
Okay. So, my last question to you, and then we're gonna bounce. So they say that older siblings or being an older sibling can impact your mental health. According to Smith, in addition to personality, being an older child can impact a person's mental health. If too much responsibility is placed on the oldest child, then the child may feel like they did not have enough of their childhood because of what they were asked to do as older siblings. Blah, 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 blah. I think we've spoken at length about that. So let's not talk about the responsibility part, but how do you mentally feel about, do you ever feel mentally drained or strained or mentally thinking, hmm, is my are my younger siblings going to make it too?
No,
Oh,
because right now you are all 18 plus. We've all had the foundations
mm,
set for us. So every man for himself,
but not
every
really
woman for
because you
herself.
actually care.
So, but I'm not gonna feel the pressure that I have to make it for you to make it. I just have to make it. I just have to make it. If you're waiting for me to make it, that's your personal business, right? But hopefully I make it if that's your goal.
Wait, you've not made it already.
Hey, maybe I want a dream, or am I a millionaire yet? No. So at the end of the day, I think that mental health, it's not about being the elder or the youngest. Everybody, it's a spectrum, and everybody goes through life. There are highs and lows. It's about being um having the right coping mechanisms or coping skills to kind of overcome hurdles in life. I don't attribute any challenges to, oh, because I'm the eldest, I'm experiencing this, or I have to make it up to this point to carry my whole family. No, because there are different instances that, people who are young, the youngest in their family, are the reason why the family is thriving, aka Michael Jackson, aka Kiki Palmer, like popular examples. And so I don't think that you should, as an elder child, feel so egotistical that people in your household can only make it if you make it. You can only do your best. You're going to pursue the path that you're on, and your personal goal should be to be successful, meet your goals, and hopefully, because of your success, you're motivating others around you. But I don't think that carrying that burden, that if you don't make it, others in
Mhm.
your families will not, it's wise. I don't think it's wise. I think because there are different reasons why things might work or might not work out. And taking that on personally can ultimately break you if you don't have the right coping mechanisms to kind of endure. And so just being very realistic that you are part of a clan
Yeah.
or a village, and you're adding value to the overall pot, right? That will make you all thrive, and that it's not all on you. And so the only part of it that you should be consistent with is making sure that you're checking on everybody else, that you're holding each other accountable, that you are communicating your goals with each other, and you're being supportive of one another, so that as you take a step forward, everybody is taking their step forward, even if you're at different stages in life. And ultimately, everybody in this village is going to thrive. And it's not going to be because of one person, it's not going to be a weight on one person. I think that's how I think about our relationship is that, okay, if we've set goals for ourselves as individuals, well, during the year, I have to make sure I'm calling and checking up on you and holding you accountable to goals that you set for yourself, and vice versa. And so once you check one goal off, and I'm checking a goal off for myself, I may now be working. Amelia is working. You may now just be finishing school, but we've all taken a step forward, right? You've graduated, you've met that goal, you're going to start your professional life. You're not at the same stage as we are professionally, but we are all moving right along, right, on the journey to success. And that's my thing there. So as far as mental health, we're all responsible for ourselves and each other. And I think it's a mistake for any one person to think that they are responsible for everybody. I think you should rather take the perspective of, well, what's my value to this clique, and how am I, how are we supporting each other for everybody to, stand strong. And I, ultimately, I think that is more uh, protective of your mental health than um, breaking down.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much. Melly, anything to add to that? In court,
I think there's some. Go ahead.
in courts, when a judge has given their ruling and the other judges on the, the bench agree, they just say that I agree with my learned colleague. I have nothing more to add, or nothing useful to add.
That's why I'm not a lawyer, because I'll be like, I agree to some extent, but there are some scenarios where we have to make some juxtapositions, and so I hear what Akua is saying. I think there's a lot of nuance to this, so I'm not I haven't digested the question to really answer comprehensively and
So
thoughtfully.
basically, it
So
depends.
eh, I think we're speaking from a place of
Privilege.
privilege.
Yes, you can say
when we
that.
when
Because I was
when
going
we
to
say
say
like
that.
when we say as firstborn, like I am not burdened mentally with this pressure to perform well, so that it's like a mark or a signature of like what it means for my tribe. I think we have to recognize that, and you can say like it was generational sometime past, but it's still like within our generation
Mm,
where this thing still exists, where some firstborns still feel the pressure, not just like they're feeling it arbitrarily, like it's something that has been put on them. Like you need to do well
mm-hmm,
because you are the marker for our family. Like if you do, we're putting all of our eggs in one basket in your dreams and
mm-hmm,
you know the pursuance of your happiness or whatever you may call it. So I I think sometimes when we speak, I like to just be like, oh, are we speaking from a place of privilege for us to like deduce that we are becoming our own person, being allowed to evolve and not taking on the burdens. Like somebody is literally listening to will be listening to this podcast you're making, and they've just been put into a foreign land by all of the
mm-hmm,
cumulative efforts of their family to give them a better life, for them to pursue their dreams so they can sprinkle
mm-hmm,
prosperity further down, like even in the year of our Lord, as we're ending, God willing, 2024. So it's still there. We hope it has been eradicated, but there's still this pressure, whether it's from the person as a firstborn or like what's been given to them. It's still this. So I think sometimes when we speak, and I'm glad that we're able to speak this way, but it's like I'm very cognizant of the fact that like we're speaking from a place of privilege.
yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say.
I was going to say that there might be some people in, because I saw, this is a funny video that I saw or somebody who is abroad, and she said that the people back home have sent her a picture of them eating fufu, the soup, the meat that is in the fufu. Just say she the breadwinner, no. The bread losers are showing her more. They've brought her to this country to make money for them, and they are eating more than her. It was just a funny video, but basically from that I got that there are some
I
people
think
who actually, sorry, there are some people who
you
are
can't.
there are some people who are actually here to make life better for their families back home, and most likely are the older siblings or the, you know, firstborns.
Yeah, but to Akua's point, like at some point, because we see it in the way the fabric is unfolding for like the senior generations that have held this role for so long, it's not sustainable. Like even if you came, you were put abroad and you're doing this for so long, it's not a sustainable method. And so you see so many things that happen, and then some are couched like it's evolving into mental health, whether in their relationships they're not treating their wives well, they're not treating their children well, they're not treating their co-workers well, or they're just like not happy in general. You see that evolving. And so at some point, what Ikea was saying, that for you to be egotistical, because once you come to a foreign land, we've all have experienced it, like your environment and your circumstance, like there's some aspects of it that you learn well. There's some aspects of it too that you don't learn well. So once you're evolving as a human and you're growing, because the only thing that's constant is change, right? Once you're evolving, you can't still be in a place where you're like, I'm the reason why my family is surviving. Because remember, you went away, you were plugged into something else, and like the family is still thriving, or like still making it. So at some point, you have to like everything that Kia said, but it's very difficult to make that transition when you've always been in like this mode of
I have to
I am
provide, yeah.
I'm the breadwinner. But it has all these like sometimes trickle effects, and we see it, right? We see it unfolding. So therapy,
Yeah,
therapy for our
it's
people is good.
important. It's very
It's
important.
very important.
But some people don't see it that way. They'll be like, why are you going to therapy? No, 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 no. You are not crazy. But it's important that we have that conversation. Anyway,
Mhm.
so that's basically the conversation. And we can have more. There's more to talk about, but we have hit the hour mark, and so it's time for me to bid you adieu. But before you go, um, let me ask you random facts. Let's see if you know things about me. Yeah, I can see you. I don't know why you think you can see you. I can see you. Quick, 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 quick. Who is my newest obsession?
You,
What?
US obsession.
Yes. Mind you, I said who. Why are you Googling? Amerley, what are you Googling?
I'm not Googling, but
I don't know. I actually
it's
don't know the
not
answer.
Big Brother.
No.
Your new is it like a
Is it a footballer?
musician, an actor,
He's an actor.
like movie Benoit?
He was a Spider-Man.
Okay, a girl no, that girl no boyfriend. If anything,
No.
Zendaya boyfriend. No.
No.
He was Spider Man.
Yes.
So who? You tell us, because we all know. Honestly, no way.
Are you serious?
And
Marijuana.
and Emilia de Moldenberg.
Okay, so what's Akua's favorite obsession? Eva, you answer that question.
Lying in her bed with ordering new Amazon devices to make her not leave the bed. That is her newest obsession. And by their laugh you shall know them. It's true.
No.
Yeah.
All those tools are.
Tell me, where is your neck phone?
My neck was paining me. Okay, Andrew Garfield. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I have to Google him. I don't. I
What
don't know
first
him.
thing
I'm
you should
googling
watch
him.
is Google chicken shop dates with Andrew Garfield
No,
and
I will not
Emilia.
do that.
Emilia de Moldenberg.
He wants me to Google
I will
something.
not do that.
I
It
am so
sounds
not
like it
doing
will
that.
mess up my
Like,
algorithm.
just send whatever you want us to watch. That is under 30 seconds.
Okay.
No, it will mess up my feed.
You
I'll
have to
start
see it.
getting random.
You have to see it. It's an obsession now. Okay. Amelia, what's your newest obsession?
I don't have any.
Hmm.
It's still the same old that you guys know. So
My
Putting
I
Banku
need to
and
know the
cookies.
latest. I need
putting
to know
things
the
in the
latest K-drama.
Amazon basket.
Yes, but also needing to know the latest K-drama that's romantic and asking the kid like who
I don't know
dated
why I
who.
forgot to even bring this K drama thing up.
Don't bring it to your next guest. Don't bring it to the house. Ikea will be your expert. Bring it with your next guest and have Ikea be your subject matter expert.
Like,
I'm not it.
Don't do this
Um,
again.
wow, you don't come back to
you
my show? Oh
know,
no.
I don't even know their names. You know, like when I talk to Ikea about them, I don't. She will say their names. I'll be like, we're not asking. Or
Because
wait. She
I
just says their
respect
names like
other
I will know them.
cultures and
I'll say them.
I respect other cultures and I take the time to learn their name.
Yeah, we also respect other cultures. Okay, we are so in tune and amazed by the way they
So
depict their
what's
roles. We
what's
just
his
know
name?
who
The guy who acted in Boys Over Flowers. What's his real
Lee
name?
Min
there are
Ho.
plenty of them. Which one
Lee Min
is
Ho.
it? Kujimpio. Kujimpio was not there.
Pio's real name is Lee Min Ho. Okay, guys.
Anyway,
Thank you so much for gracing
That was
Ayirebuah
fun.
Speaks with your
Let's do
presence.
it once a year.
Yes. So this is a podcast that we talk about random things and random thoughts. So basically, this was today's random thoughts, and I'm happy that you were able to share your insights as experts in the field, basically by your lives. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the episode. Our very first video pod episode of Ayirebuah Speaks Literally, and I was joined by my sisters Amerley and Selena O, aka Ikea. And it's been a very fun and insightful episode. We've learned things about what it feels like to be older than your other siblings, and does it affect your personality? Does it not? Does it put pressure on you? Does it affect your mental health? It all depends. And really, you should take care of yourself. And life might be hard because of the circumstances that an individual has been in. But at the end of the day, hopefully, these people have people that can push them through the difficult times. And again, it's always good to talk to somebody about anything that you're feeling. Don't keep it locked into your heart. Okay, so that's the end of the episode. Thank you again. Any last words? Any shout outs to your fans?
shout out to my fans.
Okay. Thank you again for joining me. This is the end of the episode. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bye bye.